new. I turn into something. Mom put her prayers on a loose leaf every night with her knees grazed in the rug. Yeah. Meanwhile, I was on creep with the guys. We tucked in the dashboard with the 5, pulling up right on the side of the rock.
We can all talk about our stories when we tried to kill exes.
Fucking Toxica.
All the scars.
Toxica.
Yeah, wait for it.
You know, we normally don't do this at all. Like, we don't show our guests. You know, you didn't see it last year. You wasn't able to go in the glass house last year because this is more so like a sacred place. And the fact that my grandfather's spirit is still here is why it's so sacred. So, and we also turning this into a museum. My grandfather built this house probably like 2011, 2012. That's when it was complete. He moved his stuff in here. Everything's glass. We have glass stoves, glass sink, glass toilets. Everything was glass in this house. And then after my grandpa passed, things changed. People came in, you know, started taking things, broke things. So now this is more of a monumental place for our family, the village, and this house. So let's go inside. So this one right here, Rick will come in the house and blaze up because that's what he did every time he was in. And then this is my little auntie's room named Tyler, which is the last sibling. And this was her room. It was all pink at first, and then we painted it green, we painted it back to green. You probably see specks of pink because that's what she wanted. And then, and this is the bathroom. That was all glass. There was a glass toilet here. We had a glass bidet. Everything was glass. The sink was glass. And this is the kitchen that we closed up. The glass stove is still there. Everything else glass was taken or, you know, broken.
That's really a glass stove.
That's a glass stove. And outside, my grandpa had his own personal sauna that was thermal that he built strictly for his backyard. And that's the thermal sauna right there. So he would go get his thermal sauna. He had a shower right there. And now we can enter his bedroom. It's kind of similar to my uncle's house. This is this is his bathroom right here. That was one of the only sinks that was saved.
Oh shit.
And it's a glass sink. It was glass fixtures on it, but it ended up getting broken and stuff. But you see, he had a glass shower. Everything was glass, and down to his closet where his clothes was in. Wow. These are some of his clothes he wore. He did lectures in, some of his outfits. We have different shoes over here. My grandpa wore the same size as me, which is 13.
Wow.
Those are his shoes. These are 13. And my grandpa loved African art. So African art was his thing. Math, drums. He played the drums. My grandfather loved jazz. And now we get into his bedroom. Then he loved guitar. He could play the guitar. And that's his bed. This is his space. He'd play his jazz on that CD player that we still kept. That was his CDs. And this is how he kept his room. That's crazy.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Faded Truth. Thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing and supporting the growth. Today, I'm super excited. I'm live at Usha Village in Honduras. I'm here for the second annual Mind, Body, and Soul Retreat. I'm excited today to have a very special guest. He came to the village for the first time.
First timer.
He is the plug of LA, okay? If you don't know you, you don't live there. Major media man, podcast host, radio personality. He's built it from the ground up. Today I got the Coast Guard, aka DJ Head, in the building.
Greetings, Earthlings. We are here. Thank you for having me on your platform.
Thank you for being here.
Now, she said before we started that we sweating like whores in church, and this is like probably you said this is the most humid day. I feel like I don't know. It feel like the sauna outside. So I don't know if we sweating. Just know it's real.
We tried to make it work, y'all. We started over there, but then we moved. You know me with my tech problems. It never
is
fails.
so
It never fails. I
hot
be living
and
off
humid.
vibes.
So we just wet right now. Well, at least she is. I'm a black man. It is what it is.
So, how's your journey been at the village? It's day 6.
It's day 6. It's been cool. Like, honestly, before I came here, like I was telling Isaiah, shout out to Dietary Resolution, shout out to the whole Bowman family for even allowing people to come here, which is crazy. But
yeah, we just went in the glass house, guys.
we literally just walked out of Dr. Sabi's house.
His bedroom.
I was in his
everything.
bedroom. It's crazy. But, yeah, I didn't believe in none of this shit, to be honest with you. Like, I like, even when I met Isaiah years and years ago, I met him with Nipsey at the Marathon store in LA and on Slauson. And he was telling me like, yo, I'm Dr. Sabi's grandson. Like, I was like, I don't give a fuck.
Did you know who Dr. Sabi was at the time?
I did. I was familiar, but this is years ago. And I don't remember how much research or how much knowledge I had at the time. But anyway, he was telling me like, yeah, I can get you right. Like, let's do this. And I'm just like, yeah, bro, whatever. I'm trying to get the new Crenshaw collection. Like, I'm not really listening to you right now. You know what I'm saying? I kind of blew him off, honestly. And then as I went further down the wormhole of unlearning and then relearning, because you have to unlearn hella shit that we learned growing up, the food pyramid. And I started doing more research in general, not even because of Dr. Sabi, but just in general about health and the dairy industry and how much they influenced legislation back in the day to influence kids to drink milk every day in school and like all this
propaganda,
all this kind of shit. And so I just went down a wormhole and got lost in it. And then I remember just revisiting it and reconnected with Isaiah because I started having my own like health issues and stuff like that. And so to be here, to sum it up, to be here is surreal. Like, it's crazy because I remember seeing all of this stuff. Like, I mean, obviously everybody knows Left Eye was like the first one to come here and experience and present Dr. Sabi to the world on a big platform. And, back then I was so young, I didn't understand what was going on. Like, I didn't understand what they were talking about. Never heard of sea moss. But I'm from the east side in LA. Like, we don't know about sea moss and like herbs and, shit like that. Like, that's foreign to us. Kale, I just learned what kale was in the last 10 years. I didn't know what kale was growing up. So different things like that. So to be here was just like, it's very, very surreal knowing what I know now.
Nice. I'm happy to have you here and like experience this with you. I'm excited for your journey because
I know you've been watching us.
We've been talking. Us
first timers. You be just sitting back with your shades on, and you're just laughing at us like these fucking rookies.
What?
Like,
whatever.
Because you're very comfortable, and you have already. I don't want to say you've already gone through your journey, but you're very comfortable in your journey.
Yeah.
So to see new people, it's like, oh, like I see you looking at us like, oh, look at the kids.
Whatever.
But it's dope.
You're paranoid.
It's dope though.
I like that compliment that you gave me yesterday. Y'all, he gave me a compliment. He said, "Why are you so calm?" And I'm like, what? He's like, just everything. And he's like, I've been watching you and everything that happens, you're just so calm. He's like, we broke down the ATV. The ATV was broken down in the jungle at night.
In the jungle at night.
And I'm over here asking him how he's doing.
Yeah. So she walks up, she's like, how you doing? I'm like, what you mean? We're in the fucking jungle. There's no electricity out here. There's no lights. There's no police. We don't have a gun. Like, I don't have a gun for any kind of wildlife. I don't have mosquito repellent. There's nothing. So it's like, what do you mean, how am I doing? And why are you so calm? And also, just for the record, I don't give compliments. I tell the truth. And if you happen to like what I say, then kudos to you.
That's what I'm saying. You probably didn't know that you were giving me a compliment. But for me, because you said, like, I'm already comfortable in my journey. It took me a long time to get to this part of my journey to where I can be patient in an airport and wait fucking 4 hours, even if like it's fucking my flight got canceled or whatever. Or I can fucking sit out there for maybe, 30, 45 minutes just
chilling
with nothing. Yeah. Because what else am I going to do?
Yeah.
And it took me a long time to get to that place.
It's a beautiful place.
I love it, man. It's crazy. People are like, how did you change?
And you just not really tripping off nothing. Like, we've been in some very interesting scenarios since we've been here. Whether we're in the middle of the ocean and you went into some deep meditative state, while we hitting these big ocean swells. Like we're in the middle of the fucking ocean, and it's the boat.
We're getting rained
and
on.
it's like the boat is just kicking so much water up on us, and I'm like, oh my God, why am I here? What am I doing? and you're just cracking the fuck up, like, just like that. Like you're just laughing your ass. I mean, and you getting just hit in the face with ocean water, like, and you just laughing, like, and I'm just like, bro, I can't wait till I get there. That shit's crazy.
And that's when I went into the meditative state, was when I was like, I cannot wait to get to land.
Right.
But I'm like, I can't get there, right, unless I go into this meditative state, because otherwise I'm going to just be angry and annoyed and pissed off.
Right.
And that's how I used to run my life. So I know you said that you used to pretty much like run your life through fear, or live your life through fear.
Hell yeah. I was scared of everything.
And at what point do you think that you decided to take that leap? Because when you first came here, you gave the impression that you like didn't believe in shit, but that I also didn't get the impression that you were already working on yourself, right?
Yeah.
And then I look at your page and I'm like, no, you've been doing the work.
I've been doing
You've been doing the work. This is
like
cherry on top of like, okay, what I've been doing is now coming into fruition, right?
Yes. I mean, I've been doing the work, and it just goes, I started deprogramming. I like to call it deprogramming.
Mm-hmm.
I started deprogramming like when I turned 31, I think. Maybe 30, 31-ish. And as I'm deprogramming myself, I'm on some shit like I need to unlearn everything that I learned. Like
the conditions that we have.
All the traditions. I'm talking about everything. I had to have a wild conversation with my mom about just going to church and how I refuse to go to church. Mm-hmm. And then my god sister, same thing. She's like a super Bible toting, choir rehearsal, Bible study.
Okay.
She's religious. Right?
I grew up Baptist, so
I grew up Christian,
yeah.
And so I had to have a conversation with them about like, you know what, I'm just not going to church no more. And then I went into that whole story of why it didn't make sense to me and the journey that I went on how I got to that decision. I talked to a minister, just all that kind of shit. So it's just like I had to fully commit to unlearning and reprogramming my mind to be like, just because I was taught these things doesn't mean that I have to live by these things, right? And that could be positive or negative. Same thing with dealing with women, chivalry. Like, that's bullshit to me. I'm a traditional alpha man, so I believe in protect and provide. I don't believe in like walking on the outside of the curb to protect you from a car, a random car that's gonna kill you. Like, that shit's stupid to me. And actually, for you women, that doesn't mean what you think it means. Walking on the outside of the curb has nothing to do with safety or chivalry or anything. It was actually back in the days when there were working women, there were prostitutes, and the married women, the married men would put their wife on the inside of the curb to signal to the tricks that they weren't a working woman. The working women would walk on the outside of the pimp, so that way the people that were driving knew that they were.
Wow, that's where that comes from?
Yeah, it's not romantic. Like shit like that. Me having to educate myself on what is actually a thing and what's some bullshit that we romanticized. Weddings, marriage, wedding rings, Valentine's Day, it's all bullshit to me. So because I went through that journey of doing that unconditioning, now I'm in a space of consuming. And that's when I turned 31. Yeah. When I turned 31, I just started going in on books and podcasts and just feeding my brain. You know how like last year when you said you were here and you were starving? Mm-hmm. That's how I felt about information. I felt like I had been starved my whole life for information. Right. So I just started consuming so much information in the last 5-6 years.
Yes. How old are you?
39 now.
Okay.
So I just started consuming so much information over 5-6 years that now that's why I'll be sitting there and I'll be analyzing shit and people will be like, oh, you're an asshole. It's like, yeah, I'm an asshole because I'm actually not in the matrix where you are. You believe this is pretty and I'm telling you it's not. Like, you're telling me that this seat cushion is orange and I'm telling you that's not the way eyes work. This is every color but orange, because the way we see color, you're seeing the reflection of light. So you're seeing every color but orange, but you don't want to have that conversation.
Oh, I don't even want to have that.
Right. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that's what I'm saying. Like learning so much shit that to other people, I'm fucking a weirdo.
But it's like amazing because you're totally on the correct path. Like the way that you present it, though, I hope that everyone around you knows that you're already like
I'm tapped in.
You're up there. You're tapped in. Like, there's certain conversations you won't even be able to have with other people anymore after you leave here, because the journey that you even take and everything you've been working on for the past 6-7 days, it's like already solidifying the work that you put in, but it's also solidifying that education that you've been looking into.
Yeah.
And now that you've seen it and you know it's real, and people are still like, how'd you get there? You can't get in the village. Is this a fake Dr. Sebi? Like,
yeah, they swear to God that this is not a real place, that, you know, the Bowman family is not real. There's a hell of people online that say they're Dr. Sebi's sister or they're his son. And It's like, bro, his son literally lives right on the other side of this wall.
And he's like, I don't want to claim no man.
I was at his house. I drank his bitters. I saw his marijuana plant.
Swam in his pool.
I swam in his, yeah, like shut the fuck up.
I really like, though, that you said that 31 mark. I don't know what it is. I feel like when I turned 30 was when I started feeling like I needed to change something, but 31 was when I started the podcast. And I just started meeting people that were so fucking happy, so just like grateful for their lives, and I thought it was fucking bullshit. I'm like, how the fuck are you waking up smiling and you got all this energy and you know? And I'm like, what are you happy about? Like, what is there to possibly be this enthused and passionate, right? And now I'm that person. I'm like, hey, how's your day? What's up?
Yeah,
You
like
know?
I haven't seen you in not this mode the whole time we've been here.
Oh my God,
even the first day when we got here, it was raining and it was fucked up. And you walked up and you were like, hey, like, what's going on? Like, you guys just got here? I've been here for a day. I've been having the whole village to myself. I've been living it fuck up. It's like,
it's crazy.
And I didn't understand it.
Now
I get it. Yeah, I get it.
It took me a long time to get here, and it's like a beautiful life because I already know now, like, from this point forward, in the words of my boy James Wade, he said, you're meeting me at my worst.
Right.
Right? Because every day I'm getting better.
Yeah.
Like, there's no going back from the lifestyle I've created for myself. And I didn't grow up on none of that. You know, I didn't know nothing about financial literacy, mental health.
Yep.
Nothing. I grew up around addiction, drugs, fucking poverty, fucking toxic people, you know. So for me, it was just like I had to get out of that space to even change my life. And then now, you know, I'm fucking helping everyone around me. Like, these minerals, I've had everybody on them. Everyone's blood work's coming back great, you know, and I'm just being that vessel for people. And it's just so crazy how, like, I'm the chosen one, right? And you're the chosen one because now you have this information. You can now bring it to your mom, your cousin, people that you're really trying to help with this.
Yep.
So I want to talk about what you were saying in our meditation. They do Tuesday and Thursday health talk.
Yep.
Asami in there. You said that you were having a little bit of anxiety the past year. And was that the first time that you started feeling that way?
First time. I've never had anxiety in my life.
Because I always thought it was bullshit too.
Me too.
Yeah.
Just
I'm
like I
you're
thought.
not depressed and you're not anxious.
I thought depression was some bullshit.
Yeah.
I thought anxiety was some bullshit. I never understood mental health. And then I like you start feeding yourself information and understanding, oh, there's a chemical imbalance that your neuron isn't firing correctly in this part of your brain, or this gland isn't releasing enough serotonin, or, you know, shit like it's just the science of it. So once because I'm a nerd, I dove into the minutia of the way it works. To me, it was like once I started having like these physical reactions to the world, like I'm having a panic attack or I'm having an anxiety attack. I didn't know what it was, and I never like really I never got diagnosed with anxiety, but it was just one of them things where I felt like this is what's happening to me. What
Sorry.
happened?
I just want to make sure it's not raining.
No, it's not yet.
Okay,
It's
so.
about to though.
Ooh, let's run in here real quick. Fuck it, we might as well just bring these chairs in here.
Watch it stop. Boom.
Okay, I think our rain is slowly stopping. We might be able to head back. Okay, so I know you did over, how many years have you been in media now?
I'm 20 in at this point. This year it'd be 20 years.
20 years?
Yeah, well, I mean, I went to school for radio in 2003, 4, like that, you know, transition. Mm-hmm. And then, I got my radio certificate from community college in like 2005. something like that. So I guess if you look at the certification, I'll probably be 20 years in next year.
Okay, so we know you started with Homegrown Radio.
Yep,
which was
still
just
doing
in your
it.
friend's house,
Yep,
apartment,
in his apartment building.
and that shit just blew up.
And it shit blew up, and then it's consistency. So we were basically podcasting before it was a thing.
Right.
That's basically what we were doing. Like we would do internet radio, which is, you know, a pre-recorded internet radio show, which was a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And but me and him had always, our dream had always wanted to be the go-to radio guys in LA, but there wasn't enough opportunity for us, so we just created our own, basically, and it blew up because it was like the only place to go to in LA for hip hop at that point, for interviews and hip hop media content.
Nice. So you guys were the first plug, pretty much.
Yeah.
And then how do you get to iHeartRadio? How do you get that job opportunity?
The job opportunity, well, it was steps. Like, so back in the day, my friend Devi, her name is Devi Brown. She works for Deepak. She works with Deepak Chopra, and she's huge in the mindful and wellness space.
Okay.
But back in the day, she was the biggest radio personality in LA. She was on K-Day, and I had such a thirst for radio that I would go to her. I'm like, please, I would just beg her, like, can I just come watch you do your show? And so on the weekends, she would sneak me into the radio station, and I would just sit there and watch her do her show. And I was just in awe, like, I want to do this. This is all I want to do. And so I would watch her do her radio show, and then later on, she started bringing around this ugly dark-skinned dude. His face was fucked up, and he went by his name Charlemagne. And he was on Wendy Williams at the time, and he used to come out here for auditions and sleep on Devi's couch. And so she started bringing him around, like, who's this nigga? You know what I'm saying? She's like, oh, this Charlemagne, like, he's my friend, and like, so we just fuck with him. Fast forward, like, years later, we were doing Homegrown, me and Chuck Dizzle, my partner, that we do Homegrown Radio podcast together. We were doing our own thing, and then one day, out of nowhere, I heard my boy Dave from New York sent me his cryptic email like, hey, look into this. And it was like rumors of a new hip hop station coming to LA. And I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, this is crazy. So I started doing some digging. I couldn't find any evidence or whatever. Then I found out that they were switching the old school station, Hot 92.3 Jams, into a new hip hop station. So I called Fuzzy. Fuzzy is he was on Big Boy's Neighborhood for years with Big Boy. He's one of Big's best friends. So, and Big Boy is one of my idols, you know what I'm saying? So I called Fuzzy like, yo, Fuzz, are y'all building a radio station in LA? Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, it's no way you finna build. I called him at like 8 a.m. It was really disrespectful because I just called him, didn't say hi. I was like, Fuzz, it's no way y'all gonna put another hip hop station in LA and I'm not on it. It don't make sense. And he was like, what? Like, he would still have sleep. I'm like, I need you to wake up and listen to what I'm telling you. If you put a radio station in LA that plays hip hop and I'm not on it, we're gonna have a problem. You know what I'm saying? So he was like, nah, that's cool. I got you. Don't worry about it. I'm like, no, don't bullshit me. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what I've been working for. So what happened was they launched a station, and they were just playing music. No media personalities were on the radio. Then Big Boy didn't go to work at Power 106. It's the first time I ever seen Big Boy not go to work. Like, when you turn on the radio, Big Boy's there in the morning. He wasn't on the radio. So I'm like, something is going down, right? Like, something is up, bro. Like, and I need in on it.
Right.
So I'm blowing Fuzzy up. He's like, bro, I got you. You got to relax. Right? So fast forward, I start hearing all these personalities on the radio, and I'm like, oh, it's over. Like, I'm out. They already hired everybody. And one day Fuzzy told me, I was bugging the fuck out of him, to be honest. And one day he called me, he was like, yo, so are you gonna be in town this week? I'm like, I'll be wherever the fuck you need me to be. He was like, all right, I'm gonna set up, I got you, you can come in and meet the programmer. His name is Doc. I set it up for you this week on Wednesday. I said, for sure. I go in, it went just like this. I go in, shout out to DJ Amen. He's now the music director there, but he had been in radio before me, and we had our interview at the same time. So the Doc, who's the programmer, comes out, takes him in, leaves me on the couch in the lobby. I'm like, fuck, it's over, because he has way more radio experience than me. This is my first radio job that I would ever have, right? So he takes him in. They're in there for a while, and then he doesn't leave. The programmer just comes back out and he's like, yo, I'll take you in now too. I'm like, well, I need the other motherfucker to leave. You know what I'm saying? Because I want the job. Because I thought it was one or the other. Mm-hmm. So I go in his office, and he's sitting in one chair. He's like, go ahead, have a seat. So we're sitting just like this, side by side, and the programmer's sitting across the desk like this. And he's like, yo, so tell me about yourself. And I was like, okay. So I just told him everything. And then he's laughing at me because he's like, your man right here, because this has been my boy for years, but I'm thinking we're competing for the same job. He's like, your boy here says that if I hire you, that no one's going to outwork you. That's what he said? He's like, yeah, that's what he told me. In his interview, he told me that you're going to outwork everybody that I have on staff. A white man. I was like, okay. I'm like, yeah, that's true. He was like, all right, cool. Well, you know, you're one of two of the most highly recommended people in Los Angeles when I asked people who I should hire for this station. And he was like, we would like to have you part of the team, and just slid me a contract.
Wow.
No audition, no.
Was it called iHeart back then?
Yeah, it's iHeartMedia. Okay. I mean, iHeartMedia owns the station,
gotcha.
which is Real 92.3. We're Real 92.3, but it's 92.3 on the dial.
And you were there 7 years?
7 years.
Okay. And so today is July 15th, 2023. And it's been exactly a year since you left iHeart.
Walked away.
And can you tell us like what made you make that decision? Because being somewhere 7 years is a long commitment.
Honestly,
a lot of people get comfortable after that time.
It was one of the hardest decisions I ever had to make in my life because, I mean, I did everything. I had to go through all the motions. I cried about it. I had to figure it out because that's all I ever wanted to do was radio, you know? And when you have a lifelong goal, like literally I went to school for radio in 2003-ish, 3-4, and I got hired in 2015. And I was trying to get on the whole time.
Wow.
Exactly.
Do you have advice for people that...
Consistent. It's a marathon.
Yeah.
Just run your marathon. It's never ending. It's never going to get better. I mean, it does get better, but it's never going to stop. Put it to you that way. People are always looking for the relief. Like, oh, I put this cream on my mosquito bite. And yeah, but you're going to get another mosquito bite. You're going to put more cream.
Right.
That's how this shit works. It's a marathon. So shout out to Nip. But I was there and when I decided to leave, it was because I had another big opportunity, and the company, not my boss, but the company as a whole would not let me pursue that opportunity.
Okay.
And they were like, it's either one or the other. And so I was like, well, I'm doing both or I'm out, basically. And I just stood on that. They thought I was bluffing, I guess, and I left.
So do we know the new opportunity yet? That
hasn't been announced yet.
Okay.
But I will say this.
Happening?
But I will say this. Shout out to Amazon Music and shout out to Tim Henshaw. Go subscribe to Amazon Music today.
There you go. So being a personality, I know for me, it's like I get a lot of, I have to do a lot of self-care because giving my energy to people all the time is draining.
Yes.
And I know a lot of times, like how they were saying, you have to be able to give and take the same amount of energy so that you're not drained, right? So for me, I do personally like self-care all the time. I get massages. I have I do a lot of me time. I go in the salt room. I meditate. I do my yoga, whatever. And it just allows me to be able to be that vessel for other people and like give that energy to them. But as a radio personality for 20 years, like what do you think is the hardest challenge or obstacle that you go through?
From what? From a media perspective?
Yeah, from like an entertainment perspective. Because the entertainment industry...
Dealing with a multitude of energies is exhausting.
Right.
When I'm not an empath or any kind of cute shit that you people like to do on Instagram. But I am a very authentic individual, which I'm sure you picked up on Fat, which is why we clicked.
Yeah.
But like I've been saying very inappropriate things the whole time we've been at the Village, and she's dying laughing.
We're like the same person.
Right. So
I'm just nicer.
Yeah. So I have a really obtuse personality, and so dealing with people in the industry who are very sensitive about their shit is a lot. You know, like I'm the guy in my city that tells people when their music is trash. I go to all the studio sessions with any artist you can name that's from my city. I've been in the studio with them. I tell them the truth about their music, whether it's good or bad. Sometimes I go to their house before they turn the album in to the label, and I'm like, yo, like, that's not it. Don't turn this shit in. Sometimes they listen, sometimes they don't. And that just comes from me being honest with myself. Like, people think I'm harsh on them. I'm way harder on myself. And so that comes with doing the work.
Yeah. And a lot of people, they just want things sugar-coated or like They want to beat around the bush. That's what I hate about Vegas, because it's different than East Coast, where you're like, you just say it and then you move on, right? It's like, we're not trying to fight. I'm not trying to harm you, but we're just going to move on from this. It is what it is. I'm
not the candy coat guy, and I don't put the medicine in the candy. It's just raw bitters.
Raw bitters.
It's just bitters.
Taking them raw bitters.
And it's just, and the thing is, people appreciate that about me. Like, that's something that Nipsey told me, and I just hold on to that. So I feel like, I think that for the most part, you may not like it, but you'll respect it.
Hey. Sorry, we've been all over the place out here. It's been a hot mess.
Come over here.
Can we go back over here
Yeah.
so we can close out on this? Okay, we're back. We're in and out the rain here.
We're back at our spot because the rain.
I love the spot. Yeah, I'm like, it was my vision. So it was funny that we started over there and the mics were not working.
Yeah.
Because then we ended up in my vision.
Yeah,
Did you play an instrument?
No,
Okay.
never, I'm not.
Because you said you were super into tech and music, and you're into Hertz and all that, like the scientific of the music. So I didn't know if you played instruments.
Nah, I'm not talented in real life. Like, I'm not the guy that, I'm not talented in a way, like, I can't play keys. I'm not athletic. I'm kind of both my parents are round and short. So I'm never, I'm not athletic, but I'm just, my gift is my intellect. I'm just smart as fuck. So that's really the only thing that I use. That's my ability. I taught myself how to do things. I taught myself how to DJ and produce and all this kind of different thing. I mean, I have people that show me things, but for the most part, I'm just a nerd, and I'm really intellectual. So I use that.
So Marvel, is that what you nerd out on?
Super Marvel.
So what's
nerd.
is Marvel's superheroes? Yeah, like comic books.
Yes.
Superman.
No, that's DC.
Okay.
Don't do that. That's DC Comics. That has nothing to do with Marvel.
So Marvel's just comic books?
No, Marvel is Iron Man.
Okay.
The Hulk.
Okay.
Okay. I'm not finna name all. Okay.
I wouldn't grow up on Marvel. I mean, I was never, I guess because I was a girl, I wasn't really.
Okay. So Marvel, shout out to Stan Lee. Marvel is the MCU, which is the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Television, Disney Plus shows, and the movies is probably the biggest thing in cinema in the last 100 years in real life. Not even joking. The reason why is because the world that they've created is interchangeable. It's crossover. Every movie, every TV show interweaves with one another. And each one is its own standalone, but also coincides with the grand story. But it started in 2008 and it's still going right now today.
So, favorite Marvel character?
Favorite Marvel character? Probably Tony Stark, because he's a nerd. He's a geek in his lab building Iron Man suits.
Tony Stark.
If you listen to my Siri, look, watch this. So this is something that only the nerds is gonna get. Watch this. What's the weather like today in Honduras? Oh, it's not talking to me. Hello.
Hi DJ, how can I help?
What's the weather gonna be like today in Honduras?
Expect rain in Tegucigalpa today. Daytime temperatures will hover around 82 degrees, with overnight lows around 65.
So the reason why I have this voice on my Siri is because I wanted him to sound like Jarvis. Jarvis is Iron Man's his artificial intelligence assistant.
I thought it sounded familiar, but I didn't know.
That's the reason why my Siri sounds like that.
You super nerd.
Super.
Is this happening again?
Yep. It's all good.
Do you think this is okay?
We good.
It's not going to be...
Yeah, it's cool.
Okay. It's just drizzle, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I know you said that you used to be super against any drugs, drinking, all that.
Oh, you've been taking notes.
The way that you grew up, right?
Yeah.
And I think that it can go either way, right? You grew up around addiction. I grew up around addiction. My choice was to just stay away from the hard drugs. I've done a lot, but the hard, that I was seeing people do. And definitely drank since I've been 13, smoked since I'm 13, tried a lot of fucking shit. My brother died of an overdose, but you took it the way where it was like, I'm not doing none of this, and I want none of these people around me at all.
Yeah.
So how did that go into like with your friends and stuff? Because I know you said you cut friends off that, might have been drinking, things like that.
Mine just, because when I was growing up around addiction, like my aunt had an addiction problem. And then also like the OGs that I had around me in my neighborhood growing up in my grandma's house, they would all get drunk and be throwing up. I literally remember one of the neighbors across the street being bent over in the gutter throwing up. And I was just like, why would anybody do that to themselves?
Right.
Like, why would you willingly drink until you can't literally hold your shit together?
Right.
And so it just turned me off from it, and I just never want to be a part of it. Drinking, smoking, hookah, anything.
And now today, since it's your anniversary, you said you wanted to try weed?
Today I'm going to try marijuana, yes.
What sparked that you want to try it?
I'm open to a lot of things that I wasn't always open to.
Right, because we're opening everything.
I'm open in everything.
Yeah.
You know, your pineal gland, your third eye. I'm open to sea moss. I'm open to herbs.
Yep.
I'm open to therapy. Therapy is something that I never was open to.
Right.
Charlemagne took me to Anguilla, and I agreed to go to therapy when we were at Anguilla together. And
wow.
Because he's a huge mental health advocate.
Good friend.
And so, yeah, it was just different things. Like, I went to Japan on tour one time, and I never even tried sushi till I got back to the United States. I'm just never been open to,
right.
Because also I wasn't exposed to anything. Growing up, I knew Top Ramen, pork and beans and wieners, sandwiches, frozen dinners, and Kool-Aid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's like, our life's very similar, because I was very close-minded too, just the way I grew up. I just didn't believe shit unless I saw it. I didn't believe in nothing, like no voodoo, no nothing. And now I'm over here like a whole hippie in Vegas. Like, I got my plant medicine, you know, and that's when I liked that I moved to Vegas, because cannabis, I mean, I smoked weed my whole life, but I just smoked to get high. Then when I started learning about the healing aspects of weed, I realized it's a plant. And, you know, now that I learned about all these herbs and all these ways people can heal from mushrooms, weed, fucking sea moss. You know, there's a lot of ways to incorporate into mind, body, and soul. So you about to, like, just come into a whole new era.
I'm just open to it. And you know what's crazy? You used the word hippie. I was literally about to post this thing this morning when I got up and was taking my herbs. I was like, you know what? I always was one of them stupid little ghetto kids that made fun of hippies, but they totally make sense to me now.
Totally.
They totally make sense to me.
Once your third eye opens, you're like, these are normal principles.
They kind of had the right idea, low key.
You know, like, and then that's why they're so happy, and that's why we angry. I was so angry at them. I'm like, why the fuck are you so happy?
Yeah, hippies totally makes, but I also like weird ass women too. Like, I like weird girls because I was so intrigued by how zen they were, and like I like that shit you wearing. I don't understand it. I don't know what country it's from, but I just am attracted to women who wear like what the fuck is that? You know what I'm saying?
I don't even know. My friend brought it back from some
like
island.
stones and like girls that charge their crystals.
Oh yeah,
I remember going to the beach, and this girl pulled out these crystals out of her bag and she was placing them in the sand. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, and she was like, I'm charging my crystals. It's a full moon.
Well,
I'm like, bro,
I'm really intrigued though. Like, I'm
so intrigued about the chakras. I don't understand or know about none of that shit. But
so that's the aspect that you probably haven't gotten more into.
But it's sexy to me.
Right? Is the spiritual part of it. Because you've already, like you said, you've been opening up a lot of things, but like I think now you're really coming into the spiritual aspect and bringing it all together.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited for your journey.
Yeah, it's
Because now
crazy.
you're going to have no more anxiety, no more sleep deprivation, you know. And I know you said you wanted to help your mom and your cousin.
Yeah, my mom's diabetic and my cousin is diabetic.
Yeah, so now you're going to have like the tools. Is there something specific that jumps out that you're going to like run and tell your family when you get home?
I've been documenting this whole process on purpose. Like, a lot of people go and they're like, you're on a retreat, why are you even posting, or why you even have your phone? And it's like, I think actually my big homie G told me this years ago. He was like, what?
I just want to thank you so much. This isn't going to fuck up?
It's fine.
Okay.
If you want, you could put
something over it. I'm like, but what?
Yeah, now that's not good.
Let's just leave the chair real quick.
I'll leave the chair.
It don't even matter. We all over this village.
Let me see if this works, or if it just looks stupid or creepy. Does that look creepy on camera?
I don't care. The viewers aren't going to care. They're just going to be happy that they're entertained.
Okay.
And the audio, you won't see it at all. So.
Oh yeah, that's true. Okay, what was the question?
We were saying how you were documenting the journey, and people are like, "Why are you documenting it?"
Oh yeah, I'm documenting the journey on purpose because A lot of people, including myself, is like, this is some bullshit. The Dr. Sebi Usha thing is some bullshit. And where I'm from, I'm like the litmus test for the authenticity or bullshit. And so a lot of people look to me as like, oh, if you say it must be some real shit.
Right.
So I've been documenting on purpose so that way people understand.
You're
like,
about to influence, like you've already influenced a lot of people.
Oh, no. People been texting me, DMing me. Like, there people, like 4 people booked. Like, yeah, it's crazy. But it's just, I've been doing it on purpose because I want people to understand, like, okay, I was skeptical too.
Yeah.
But
once you get, like you said, once you got the anxiety, it made you go to a certain point where you were like, I have to figure it out, right?
Yeah.
So I can't be skepticism anymore because now my therapist told me I don't have anxiety.
Yeah.
Whatever I'm trying isn't working.
Yeah.
So at what point does it break? So it's like you had a little bit of faith and look what it turned into, because now you're a full-blown believer.
Full-blown.
Yeah.
I'm full-blown. I'm all in.
I love it.
CMOS game.
I came because honestly I came last year because I was sick. I had a liver and kidney issues, and I went home and got my blood work redone. It was like fucking amazing in a week, and so I decided to come back. And this year has been like hard mentally, physically, professionally, everything. I do everything myself, right? So I don't have a fucking BTS person. I don't have someone to be like, hey, your fucking camera's not running, bitch. Like,
right.
You know, like it's always been me, and sometimes it gets overwhelming. So I was just feeling very stressed, like how you said, anxious. I really don't feel like that a lot, but since I've been getting more deeper into the entertainment, I feel like I get that sometimes.
Yeah.
And before I came here, I just felt like my cells were literally like vibrating. They were shaking. I was so like wound up, and I didn't know why. You know, I'm like, I'm doing everything normal that I usually do, and I was like, I definitely need this to like rebalance my fucking central nervous system.
I feel that.
Hello. We've been all over this. Okay, so I know you do charities as well.
Yes.
You're the chairman for the MAC for Boys and Girls Club in LA.
Yep, the Media Advisory Council. Dan, you do research and shit.
I'm an interviewer.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like upset, because I'm like, I'm really trying to get this. You know, like,
no. The Media Advisory Council is something. It's shout out to Patrick Mahoney, who's the CEO of the Boys and Girls Club for Metro LA. Kim Washington and my boy David Gross. David Gross is somebody that kind of, you know, everybody found out about or got up on because of Nip. But Gross basically asked me, he's like, what do you want to do? Because you got a lot of influence. Kind of the same thing Isaiah be telling me, like, you got a lot of influence, like people listen to you, what do you want to do? I'm like, man, I want to really be involved with this community. Like I need to be in these organizations like the Boys and Girls Club. And he was like, all right, bet. And then he literally walked me into the Boys and Girls Club, and introduced me to the CEO, and told the CEO, like, this is your guy. This is the guy you need for whatever you're trying to do. This is the guy in LA. And they made me the chairman of the board.
So the Boys and Girls Club, that just is like, is it just kids?
Kids, yeah.
Charity for kids?
No, it's not charity. It's a program. So the Boys and Girls Club is a youth organization, and it's basically for kids that, like myself, that come from these disenfranchised, poverty-stricken communities where it's after school. They also have school. Mind you, shout out to the Challengers Boys and Girls Club, which is on 51st in Vermont. 51st in Vermont. They never shut down during COVID. They provided meals for the community every day. Every day they were there during quarantine giving meals out to the kids, because you got to think, yeah, we have the luxury of quarantining for COVID, but then a lot of these families rely on, I used to have lunch tickets in school, and lunch tickets was on county, I was on welfare. So a lot of these kids relied on county assistance to eat every day at school. Mm-hmm. So when you shut school down, we don't have food. You know what I'm saying? So the Boys and Girls Club Challengers stayed open just to give meals out to the kids who was on welfare and county assistance who wouldn't get those meals at school.
Nice.
Yeah.
So do you have any new projects or things that you're working on this year?
Yeah, we're building a studio at the Challengers Club. They just had contractors in there, and we're building a studio to teach the children. I call it the new trades. So back in the day, you would have electrician, plumber, stuff like that. I look at the new trades for the new generation as like podcasting, video editing, audio engineers, musicians, DJs, music producers. Those are the new trade. Those are the stuff that kids want to do.
Right.
They don't want to be a plumber.
Right.
We need plumbers. By all means, be a plumber, but they want to create content and learn green screen and shit like that. So that's what we are. The green screen is the blue and the green screen rooms are already built at Challengers, and we're building a studio, recording studio, a radio station, a podcast studio for the kids to learn how to do that. So the idea for it is, by the time they're 16, by the time they graduate high school, they'll be able to get a job making 6 figures. That's the idea.
Yeah, because that's the thing. We're not taught anything specific. We're not taught finances. We're not taught taxes. We're not taught things that adult people are supposed to learn. All you're taught is some bullshit-ass algebra you're never going to use and some history lesson that's bullshit because all the textbooks were changed.
Yep.
So it's like we're not teaching our kids anything, and that's the whole thing. Like, your third eye's open. You're going to start... Yeah, I'm telling you, when I started, like, really coming to, I'm like, I fucking hate this world. Like, you go through literal roller coasters of emotion because you're going to start feeling like you're taking people's energy. The more big you get in your energy, and that's why you said, like, I feel comfortable in my thing, but going through it took me a while. I used to really get drained, and I used to fucking start hating people, and like, I'm like, I don't want to hear your fucking bullshit story. Why are you telling me about it? But people always come to me and tell me things, and I realize, like, that's my purpose in life. So I'm excited that you're on the minerals. I'm excited that you're here.
Me too.
Thank you so much for your time. We're just like, we're making it happen out here.
Oh no, we're making it happen. I probably look crazy right now.
We telling scary stories.
I turned the phone light on because I know my melanin is
we telling scary stories. This is gonna be all crazy.
It's gonna be crazy.
We had a great time. It's day 6 of the retreat. I leave tomorrow. They have one more day to go. It's been fucking amazing. Thank you so much to Usha Village for having us. Thank you to Dietary Resolutions, the whole Bowman family. And thank you to Dr. Sebi most of all, because...
I was just in Dr. Sebi's, his bedroom.
His bedroom, man. That energy was strong.
That shit was crazy.
It really made me feel emotional when I walked in. Like, wow. And I smelled it. It smelled like, like probably him. And he had his clothes.
I saw his clothes. And yeah,
that was crazy.
I was today years old when I saw a glass stove.
Yeah.
I ain't never seen a glass stove in my life, but I saw one today.
Yeah. I would love to see someone cook on it. Right. It's going to turn into a museum. If y'all are interested in coming to Usha Village, make sure that you hit them up at Dr. Sebi Usha. I'm telling y'all, it's just going to be up from here. I'm excited for your journey.
Thank you.
This is the most amazing place that you could start it.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's going to be dope. And also, I feel like me being here was not, because I came on bullshit. I didn't come here with, I came here with pure intention, but I came here to
debunk.
Oh no, I turned into something. Send a little text on my telephone telling me she can't let go in a month. And no response left on red, but karma got a thing for me. You living in the wrong, Joshua. Don't play with the girl's heart. Burn up a feminine soul. What you better read what my pops told me. But oh no, I turned into something colder than a moccasin. Who's coming with gun and the moccasin and the tenant who better ain't better than the 5% or more. But another way, in another phase, marathon, cause this shit ain't really a race.